everyone, it's Just History Guy, and today I want to talk about some of my favorite old school 1990s JRPGs. That's right, the years of the baggy t-shirt. And yes, it is indeed weird that the 90s can be considered somewhat old school now. But here we go, my top 10 games from the 1990s. Kind of. I have two honorable mentions I want to give a shout out to first. Those being for two games I haven't played before, but have heard so much praise for that I thought I would give a shout out, being Chrono Trigger and Xenogears. These are two excellent games with, from what I've heard, have excellent stories and characters with adventures that just don't let you put the controller down. And while I haven't gotten to them yet, I do hope to play these titles someday. And with that, my personal favorite 1990s JRPGs. Starting off with Lunar Silver Star Story, released in 1996 for the Sega Saturn and 1998 for the PS1. Now this is a game that I think gets overlooked quite often when looking back on the JRPGs of the 90s. And that's a real shame, because Lunar is an absolute gem. And the thing about this game that just makes me love it is just how optimistic the game feels. A lot of JRPGs of the time had amazing dark stories, and don't get me wrong, I love those. They're amazing, as you'll see. But sometimes, I just want to play something where good people do good things. I know that's really simple sounding, but the happiness and camaraderie in this game just adds a little smile to my face. But don't get me wrong, the game has excellent characters and a fun adventure, with tons of great dialogue. The game follows Alex and his friends as he becomes a dragon master and fights against the dark forces of the world. And if you haven't yet given this game a chance, please do. Parasite Eve. Now, you've heard me talk about this one before. Developed by Square and the first M-rated game they ever created, and what a game to be the first. In Parasite Eve, you take on the role of New York City police officer Aya, as you look to stop Eve, a woman who appears one night at the opera and starts spontaneously combusting the visitors. This monster of a woman is turning New York City into a place of hideous creatures through the powerhouse of the cell, the mitochondria. Yep, that thing on your high school biology test. And you must stop her. This game has an interesting, unique battle system for the time, with it being a pausable, real-time combat system using ATB. The only complaint that I have with this game is the unbelievably slow walking speed. But even when you're only going 1 mile per hour, the game is just so much fun. Next, we have EarthBound, which is just a hard game to describe. On the surface, it's an excellent fun JRPG taking place in 90s America with that unique setting leading to a whole bunch of amazing things. But underneath that, we have a dark story with some pretty deep themes that will connect with you and leave you thinking about it for days. While at the same time, EarthBound is just a wacky fun game. It's a game where you can meet a dog possessed by the game developer, so that should tell you what you need to know. This game is just something you need to experience for yourself, and I don't want to ruin any of it for new players. Super Mario RPG, the classic collaboration between Square and Nintendo, and one I'm so glad is getting a remake. This was just an excellent combination that, on the surface, did not seem to make much sense. But I absolutely love playing this game. It has great turn-based combat with fun environments and cool platforming bits, and the game has absolute strokes of writing genius. The humor in this game is just top-notch, with some excellent original characters to boot. And I, for one, can't wait for the remake. Final Fantasy VI for the SNES. And I know many of you will be thinking, what? Shouldn't it be Final Fantasy VII? Well, I've actually only ever played the first 2 hours of the original FF7, and have decided not to play it until I finish playing the remake games. So, for that reason, it's out. I know, sacrilege. But if you're thinking it's Final Fantasy IX, well, that's actually a 2000s game. And to me, Final Fantasy VI just barely beats out Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VI is graphically beautiful for the time with a truly epic tale, The game's narrative unfolds in a world teetering on the brink of destruction, introducing players to an ensemble cast of memorable characters. Gameplay-wise, Final Fantasy VI introduces the Active Time Battle ATB system, allowing for dynamic combat that requires strategic planning and quick decision-making skills. And it's just fun. I mean, the game even kind of tricks you at the halfway point into thinking you're having the final battle. At least it did to me. Final Fantasy VI is a game any JRPG fan needs to play. Now we have Suikoden II, a masterpiece in the JRPG genre. This game has so much depth. At its core though, Suikoden II boasts a gripping narrative that delves into themes of friendship, betrayal, political intrigue, as well as the cost of war. The story follows Ryu and his childhood friend Joey as they navigate a war-torn land. The game deftly weaves personal relationships into the grander scheme, creating an emotional connection that resonates throughout the adventure. Gameplay is wholly unique, being a blend of traditional turn-based combat and strategic army battles. The duels and skirmishes and massive battles all contribute to the sense of scale and immersion this game has. And let's not forget the 108 recruitable characters you can get, and how addicting it can be to find them and catch them all. Wild Arms 2. Wild Arms 2 is an RPG that perfectly melds the fantasy elements of traditional RPGs with a futuristic Western one that I've not ever seen in an RPG outside this series. The game's plot follows the exploit of the ARMS team as they strive to thwart a looming global threat, with many intricate webs of conspiracies and interesting character dynamics. The game has some great character development and an awesome, eclectic cast that really gets you invested in the story. Wild Arms 2 just had a charm to it that can't be understated, with some of the best music I've heard out of any game. Please check this game out, because when it comes to setting, story, characters, and music, this game just knocks it out of the park. My number one 1990s JRPG is Persona 2 Innocent Sin, and I'm sure for those who've been watching me for a while, this pick doesn't surprise you. This game is fantastic and definitely deserves a remake. It has some of the most amazing characters of any game I've ever played, period, with a fun and engaging story to boot. In this game, rumors turn into reality, and you seem to be right at the center of the mystery. Who is the villainous Joker? What connection does he have with each party member? This is what you need to find out, and it's a blast to do so. And I mean, at one point in this game, you literally fight Hitler, who's armed with an ancient holy spear. So, that should tell you all you need to know about this game. Play it. I mean, you can even use the rumor mechanic in the game to make an old lady into an arms dealer. But if you need to hear more, you can check out my full video review on this game, which I actually consider to be my first real video. And with that, I'm the Just History guy. Thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe. It really helps me in the channel a lot, as well as lets me know what you guys would like to see. Have a great day.